Hi there. Are you a veteran or is your partner a veteran or do you know a veteran that should be watching this? I wanted to talk to you about how Texas, here in Texas, the people and our government love veterans. And you might be surprised at how many benefits Texas has for our armed forces veterans. From land to education to when you go to the coffee shop or the home improvement store or even the gym. You'll be surprised at some of the discounts or even on Memorial Day at some of the restaurants. Okay, so by the way, if you're enjoying this video, hit like and subscribe so you'll see the next videos coming up. Like you can binge watch on my Dallas videos and learn all about Dallas. And you'll come here, you might know more than the locals do by the time you watch a lot of these because there's been a lot of research go into it, walked a lot of miles and sweated a lot. And trying to help you guys out that you're educated before you get here so that we can use your time, be respectful of your time and get you a home that is getting you the most bang for your buck and the most things that you want out of your house. So in Texas, wherever you go or places I go anyway, you'll see a deep appreciation for our veterans. It's in our churches, in our schools, in our businesses. We appreciate those who have served our country and put their life on the line for our freedoms. And that appreciation shows up not just in when you're out and about, but also in some of our laws and our programs. And today you won't usually see me in a baseball hat. By the way, my name is Janée Reeder and I'm a real estate agent in Texas. I've grown up in Texas and spent my adult years here in Dallas, but I've also lived in Weatherford, Abilene, Lubbock, and I know the area well, and I'm also an Army brat. So today I'm wearing this was my dad's favorite hat, and he wore it everywhere. And he served in Korea, and he had two time periods in Germany during the Cold War, and he was in Vietnam in Saigon. And we just lost him about a month ago, but he had a lot of stories, and he was very proud of our country and our freedoms, and always knew too well how, because of the role he had as a lieutenant colonel in Army intelligence, he knew too well how um, fragile that can be, especially with certain ideologies. But I digress. The point is, we appreciate your service. I appreciate your service. I remember being little, going to, living in Germany and being stationed different places on the East Coast, New Jersey, Georgia. I remember all of that, and then landing in Texas when I was still a little girl. Today, some of the Texas topics of benefits we're going to talk about are for one, parks and recreation. And then we're going to talk about employment benefits and business benefits if you want to start your own business here. Educational benefits, and that differs from what else you'll find otherwise in this country. And Department of Motor Vehicles, just general entertainment and discounts, cemeteries and life insurance, and last but not least, benefits of owning your home here in Texas and or real estate. Let's jump right in. And by the way, these benefits are really good. So if you're not a veteran or in a family, military family, and you know somebody, send them this video so they can hear about what Texas has to offer. Florida is also a really good state, but like a true Texan, Texas is the best, but it really is, So we'll go over why Texas is the best for veterans, and I think it will be very clear to you. And also, we just love veterans and we want you to come here. Okay, so whether your move is going to be in a week, a month or a year, or you just already have a date somewhere beyond that or in between one of those, go ahead and give us a call, shoot us a text, send an email, or my favorite is schedule a Zoom. And all that information is in the description, and it's also pinned to the top of the comments below. So go ahead and do that, and we can figure out what your needs or wants are and help take really good care of you and make that a really successful Texas transition. Okay, so let's just dive into the first topic, and that is the state parks and recreation. And do you want to build a camp in a state park for free or almost free just for being a veteran? Well, you can do that in Texas. And this is something I still remember the girls, their granddad. This was his hat. They were everywhere. And it's something I wanted this after he passed. Can I have that hat? Um, and also, I painted a portrait of him wearing this hat, and he loved it. So when my girls were little, they were tiny, we would go to some of the state parks, and I remember, just stopping at the entrance on our way in, and he had his military ID and filled in some quick paperwork, and he got a park pass. And so we just went into the parks, and that was great. I don't remember if I don't I think he could have up to a certain number of people. I don't remember, but it seems like we all just got in. It's been a while. You want to get that because that's a cool benefit, and we do have some nice state parks, especially if you enjoy the outdoors. But to me, that's part of an education for kids. So you want to take them outside, and you want to take them to see those things. Also, there's something called a Texas Super Combo Pack that is for hunting and all fishing, and that is for Texas residents and non-residents. It's for Texas resident and non-resident disabled veterans are able to qualify for a Texas hunting and all fishing combo pack. That's a great benefit. That includes the hunting license, fishing license, and an annual state park pass. So if you're disabled, you can just get all of that all together, and that's if you're a Texas resident or not. But for that combo pack, for the disability combo pack, you have to show proof of disability either through your DD 214 form, a letter from the Department of Veterans Affairs, or a letter from the veteran's doctor. Once the veteran has submitted proof of their disability, they will receive a free super combo hunting and all water fishing package. So you're going to get that hunting license and that's going to be for big game, small game, and waterfowl in Texas. The fishing license, which means you can fish in any public water in Texas, and a state park pass. The disability qualification for that is, and remember it's resident or non-resident, is the loss of a foot or a leg or have 50% or more disability rating and receive compensation from the VA. So you can apply for this at the local state parks or go to the ranger station. By the way, the information I am providing is for general information purposes only and is not intended as legal, accounting, tax, or financial advice. So I do not provide that type of advice. I provide advice as a realtor, and no client relationship is formed through this video. Before making decisions, please do consult with a qualified attorney or CPA, tax professional, or a licensed mortgage provider. Okay, so also in Texas, we have some employment and some business benefits. Being a business owner, I'm going to talk about the business benefits first because they're pretty cool. And I don't know, maybe you want to be a business owner too. So one of the things, that you do when you start a business is you'll set up an LLC with the Secretary of State. And by the way, if you need a referral to a great attorney to put that together for you, my background is in law, and I have a ton of friends that are attorneys that would be really happy to help you put together the correct formation documents to form your LLC. And then when you go to the state, there's usually a $300 fee to file your LLC. And if you are a veteran, that is waived. And the other thing is waived is the franchise taxes for the first 5 years you are in business. So that's also great. Now, the franchise taxes in Texas, you don't start paying franchise tax until a pretty high amount. It used to be $1 million. I believe it's 2.2 now. I have to verify that. So you'll have to be making a lot of money before you're paying franchise taxes. But hey, I hope that you are making a lot of money, and I hope that does happen very quickly for you. So anyway, you're going to save $300 if you're starting 100% veteran owned limited liability company, an LLC here in Texas. So think about that. And you do want to also do your formation documents. Otherwise, you're operating under just the default rules in the business code. So do think about that. I would not skip that step. Okay. Just a hint. Okay, back to the employment benefits. There are some special training programs, and veterans get employer preference. Veterans have priority service for all employment, job training, and related services provided by the Texas Workforce Commission. That's the TWC. This means that veterans are given first consideration for jobs, training programs, and other services. So that puts you at the front of the line, which is great. Again, we love our veterans. Our government loves our veterans, and the Texas Workforce Commission loves our veterans. And there's good reason for that. I mean, you guys have been through a lot of training where you're disciplined. You know how to follow what you're told to do. You know how to learn tasks. You do things with integrity and with, good manners, a great attitude, and just make good employees. And so it's not just that the Texas Workforce Commission necessarily is gifting something. They actually know that veterans are going to fill those jobs really well. And so you're getting priority service because you already are going to be one of the people that stands out with your attitude and your discipline and your work ethic. The next thing is employment preference. So there is a exam given for competitive employment jobs, and when you take that test, you get a passing score. You're going to get 10 points added to the test score. And if you have also a disability, it's going to be an extra 5 points. You'll get 15 points added to your test score. So that kind of helps put you forward a little bit too for getting a job by a state employer. So those are state employed jobs. You get bonus points. Is that what we called it in school? Bonus points. You get bonus points of 10 or 15 points added to your passing grade. So if you're an honorably discharged veteran and you served for at least 90 consecutive days during a declared national emergency, or you were discharged prior to 90 days due to a service-connected disability, then as an honorably discharged veteran with service disability, or as determined by the VA or your branch of the service, or if you're a veteran's unmarried surviving spouse or an orphan of a veteran killed while on active duty, then you are eligible for the veteran's employment preference. So that extends to a spouse. So if your spouse died and was a veteran, you will also be eligible for that veteran's preference. There are also some training programs offered to veterans in Texas, like career counseling, job search assistant, it's on-the-job training, and training for specific industries. So you can get some extra training also if you are interested in doing that. And then there's also some training programs that are offered to veterans in Texas: career counseling, job search assistance, on-the-job training, and training for specific industries. All right, moving on. So What if I told you that you could send your kids to college tuition free in Texas due to your service? So not only if you served in Iraq are you going to be able to take advantage of the post 9/11 GI Bill, which applies everywhere. Texas has something called the Hazelwood Act. And that means you might be able to take advantage of this. It was last amended in 2019. Hazelwood Act has been amended several times, the last being in 2019. That 2019 amendment established an increase in the amount of tuition-free education veterans can receive. So some of the eligibility requirements are that the veteran must be a resident of Texas, be a veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces, to have served on active duty for at least 90 days, and have been discharged from the military under honorable conditions. And then the benefits include tuition-free education at any public college or university in Texas, tuition reimbursement for up to 150 hours of credit at a private college or university in Texas, and tuition reimbursement for up to 150 hours tuition of credit at a foreign college, foreign meaning outside of Texas. And of course, this is military. This is a military deal. So for the Hazelwood Act, there will be an application process you need to go through. So you go to the website of Texas Veterans Commission, and that's where you can fill out an application. You need proof of residency, proof of discharge form, proof of military service, and you just go to that website and you can follow the steps in applying for that and learn more about the Hazelwood Act. So that's a really great benefit. Again, did I mention that our government loves our veterans? And the Texas government does love veterans. All right. So we're going to take a little moment here, and I have a Texas trivia question for you. It is veteran related. I don't think anybody's going to know this, or not very many people are going to know this, but you're going to know it after I ask the question. So what Texas veteran is the Collin County Courthouse named after? And Collin County houses Plano, a big chunk of Frisco, Prosper, McKinney, Allen, whole bunch of cities are in Collin County. It's a big county, and it's still got a lot of places for people to build new houses, so it's still developing. So anyway, Collin County Courthouse. I know this story because my neighbor across the street told me about her brother, because her brother went to Vietnam. She personally told me this story. So that's my trivia question. Who is the Collin County Courthouse named after? It was a veteran who did something very heroic. So the answer to my Texas trivia question is that the Collin County Courthouse in McKinney, Texas it's named in honor of First Lieutenant Russell A. Stidham. I don't think I said that right, because his sister has a different last name and I know her, but it's First Lieutenant Russell A. Stidham. He was in Operation Tong Tang 4 that I don't know too much about. It was in 1970, and there was a grenade thrown at him and his men, and he yelled out a warning to his men, and then he threw himself on top of the grenade, and he absorbed that impact and did that to protect his men. He literally laid down his life for his men, and his sister told me that story. He grew up in Plano, went to University of Texas, and then he joined the Army. Also at University of Texas, there is a ROTC building, Stidham Hall, named in his honor as well. And in Plano, there's a park with his name. In 2017, the Collin County Courthouse unanimously voted to rename the building the Russell A. Stidham Courts Building. You'll hear of it referred to as both, and I wanted you to know that little piece of trivia. And you can move here if you come to Collin County. I bet you can teach your neighbors something. All right, moving on to the Department of Motor Vehicles, the DMV, our favorite place to go hang out and wait in line for a long time. So if you do go there, go prepared, go download your forms, make sure you got everything you need. because we do have a lot of people into Texas, and the DMV visit can take hours. So go prepared to don't have something scheduled right after you go to the DMV. Anyway, that's from experience. So, okay, have you ever noticed if you've been to Texas how many military plates are around? Well, that's because our military personnel and veterans are aware of these benefits from the DMV. Potentially, you could even get a free driver's license. Disabled veterans with a 60% or greater disability and that are receiving compensation for the VA are eligible for no fee driver's license. Disabled veterans who have 50% or greater disability rating from the VA or a 40% rating and have a lower extremity amputation are eligible for the disabled veteran designation. And designations must provide an original copy of the following documents as proof of their eligibility: a DD 214, a DD 215, NGB 22, GB 22, VA disability letter with percentage, and either a Texas handgun, concealed carry, or a concealed license to carry license. Um, one of those. And on top of that, you can get a disabled veteran license plate. A disabled veteran license plate has a special license plate to honor and provide benefits to veterans with disabilities. They offer certain privileges and parking benefits to facilitate the mobility and convenience of disabled veterans. To qualify on your disability rate, first of all, you need to be a veteran who's been honorably discharged from the United States Armed Forces and have a service-connected disability rating of at least 50%, as determined by the Department of Veterans Affairs, the VA, and obtain certification from the VA confirming your disability rating. And that documentation typically is going to be a completed application for the disabled veteran license plate, the form VTR 615, a copy of your DD form 214, which verifies your military service and honorable discharge, documentation from the VA confirming your disability service rating, and you need to complete the application for disabled license plate with all that information. So there has been a little bit of a change and update. You do still you have to now have the disability hanger in your car if you are disabled. So you want to get that from your doctor, and you're going to have that. But before you go to the DMV, I suggest you download these forms and you be prepared, or you may spend 2 days going to the DMV. Ask me how I know. Okay, so another benefit of that, having that driver's license and being a veteran, is that you can actually park at the airport for free. So if you are going on a trip, you just go, the tricky part is you want to make sure you go through the lane that is ticket only, so you get that validated when you're coming out. Otherwise, it's going to go on your toll tag if you're driving a toll tag. We do toll tags around here, by the way, and things get automatically checked to your account when you go under these certain cameras, and you get a better rate going on the toll roads than if you were just to receive a bill and pay them. So you do want to get a toll tag when you get here. But if you're going to the airport, you want to go around that, and then you can park in designated areas for a certain amount of time. That benefit at the airport is if you have the disabled veteran license plate. If you're a disabled veteran with at least 50%, you're typically exempt from the license plate fees. Okay, this is kind of the fun one. This is more just how our community loves on our veterans. You know, think about how much money you could save with just shaving off some of the cost of a lot of the places you go and the things you do, like going to the gym, getting a gym discount, we have Black Rifle Coffee here. The one in Plano is especially popular for veterans. You know, getting 10% off when you go get your coffee, when you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, getting 10% off. There's a lot of places that kind of do that for our veterans. So it's always worth asking. that is something that we love. And I think someplace you're going to love to go check out if you're a veteran is Shields in the Colony. It is this huge two-story sporting goods store with lots of guns. It's got big game from some safaris. It's got fishing equipment, tennis shoes, clothes for sports, picnicking, outdoors. Probably not. I guess you don't. I picnic, and I think maybe it's more camping than picnicking. But anyway, camping stuff, grilling, and so yeah, if you like catching fish and cooking meat and hunting meat and all those things that some veterans do or like to do with their families, then I think you'll like Shields in the Colony. And it's got a big Ferris wheel. And there's a little place to have like, kind of like at fairs where it's not real guns, but you point them and these little animals or something pop up in these windows and you try to shoot them. Anyway, it's fun for kids. And you can do that. Kind of a fun family place to go check out. And also, you know, I've noticed some of the smaller towns like Waxahachie, they've got a lot of things for veterans. I think Plano is very involved with their veterans. So like there may be their VFW American Legion that you can get involved with, make friends or serve the community. So, you know, they're not necessarily just about like, oh, you know, like the bar, go drink, whatever. They're actually serving other people and doing great things. So that can help you. And you can also get discounts for like Texas Rangers, Dallas Stars, Six Flags Over Texas, Astro Games, SeaWorld, Schlitterbahn. It's a big water park. You have to learn how to say Schlitterbahn. And like I said, the gyms and all of those kind of things. And also there's a really cool Army Navy store over by the Arboretum. You could combine a day of going to the beautiful Arboretum and stopping at the Army Navy store from his MRIs, his little meal packets. Get those for the kids and let them enjoy eating those for dinner when you get home. I don't know. Just a thought. So I am in the Army surplus store down near White Rock Lake, and these are the MREs. You can get MREs here and dine on those. I hear they're just delicious. And you can get flags, boots, Army surplus stuff, knives. They have pins, hats. It's a lot, I would say, mostly like Army Navy kind of stuff down here. So I don't know, maybe this is a good place to get veterans a gift. If, you know, I've lived here for a long time. I've never been down here, and I finally made it. You can get camouflage fatigue pants, duffel bags. Look at those duffel bags. Those are huge. See those? There. Boop. So anyway, those are duffel bags that you can get here. It's a pretty interesting little store here. I don't know why I haven't been in before. You can even get, you can see behind me, they have gas masks. So, and lots of pocket knives and blades, and the hats. The hats were down here. There we go. Hats. You can get all kinds of hats. So, and this would have been a great place to found. And also, you know, bumper stickers and stickers up here. So anyway, Army Navy surplus down by the White Rock Lake, and you can get keychains with your blood type on it. So, in case something happens to you. Not a bad idea, except they were out of O positive, so I couldn't get one. Okay, we're going on to the next little bit grimmer topic, cemeteries and insurance. Yet that's, you know, planning for when it's not if you're gonna die, we're all gonna die sometime, but it's a gift to your family to make some of those plans, have life insurance in place, and to consider making plans to be interred at one of the 4 cemeteries that are in Texas. Now, my father was a lieutenant colonel. We actually already had some place in mind. He was buried in Oklahoma, even though we lived in Texas, but that's where he grew up. His roots are from Oklahoma, and spent a lot of time in Oklahoma growing up, and so that's where we buried him. But and it was really great. He had a honor guard, and 7 soldiers came, and they fired 3 times and played taps, and it was a special moment. And that's something that I'm glad was there to honor him, because his service meant a lot to him. And so, but we have 4 veteran cemeteries: Abilene, Corpus Christi, Kylene, and Mission, Texas. And Texas veterans, their spouses, and their dependents are eligible for burial there. And there is no charge for burial there or the family. Now, in 2023, VA life insurance, Veterans Affairs life insurance became available, and it offers guaranteed acceptance even if you have disabilities for up to $40,000, and you can do something smaller like $10,000. But when you get that started, it takes at least 2 years for it to go into effect. But $10,000 to $40,000, if something were to happen, that would at least help with the any funeral expenses and getting past that rough time. So, helping veterans is something my team and I are really excited about. We want to help you make that Texas transition. We want to have more veterans in Texas. We love our veterans. And, even if you are not moving to Dallas, we have a lot of referral partners. We can help you get transitioned to wherever in the state you want to move. We know the partners that we work with are very professional and can really do a good job serving you. Last but not least, we're going to talk about housing benefits in Texas. Okay, so let me ask you this. Did you know Texas does not have a state income tax, which is great, but we a little bit make up for it in our property taxes, so it might be a wash. But we do, so with the property taxes, one thing you really want to do when you move here is you want to file homestead exemption. And that's something you got to go down to the DMV and you get a new driver's license showing, you get that license showing your new address. And then once you have that, you can file for homestead exemption. On top of that, you can get some property tax exemptions as a veteran. It can be as much as, if you have 100% disability, you can get 100% exemption on your state property taxes. If your rating's less than 100%, 70 to 99, still it's $12,000 exemption. Or if it's 50 to 69%, that's a $10,000 exemption. 30 to 49%, that's a $7,500 exemption, and 10 to 29% is still a $5,000 exemption. That is reducing the value of your home, how the appraisal district values your home. So, for example, if they value it at $500,000, you take 10% off of that, then it's going to be that's $50,000. It's gonna be $450,000 of a value. Or if it's $250,000, and you take 10% off, then that takes off $25,000, and you're $225,000. So then you're taxed at that rate of that value. So all of these things add up. The savings that you can get on starting a business out in the community, doing activities, if you enjoy the outdoors, the parks, all these things add up. The tax benefits, especially if you are a disabled veteran. So also my recommendation is every year really watch out for what that appraisal value comes in. And there are some professionals that I can refer you to that will look at that and go do a property tax protest if needed. Those taxes are valued not necessarily on very individual basis. They sort of batch value all of those. And there are some nuances that might make your valuation not be quite as high as what they're saying, and you can go in and argue. I go argue mine every year, and I save a lot. So it's definitely worth it. And then they can only raise your value on a certain percentage every year once it's homesteaded. So it just that's another compounded savings, and I highly recommend you do that in Texas. You don't want to put your head in the sand on that topic. Let me just say that. And a lot of people do, but don't. All right, the Texas Veteran Land Board. We're going to talk about loans now. The Texas Veteran Land Board, one of the loans they offer is a Veterans Home Improvement Program, VHIP. And that is, you do have to be a Texas resident, and you can get a loan of $50,000 for a 2 to 20-year term, or $7,500 to $10,000 for a 2 to 10-year term. And of course, you've got to have certain qualifications. You have to have good credit history, be a Texas veteran, own and occupy the house as your principal residence, and be a veteran who served on active duty for the U.S. Armed Forces for at least 90 days or was discharged due to a service-related disability. And that's pretty good for a home improvement loan. And, the Texas Veterans Land Board wants our veterans to be in a nice home and have it functioning. And, there may be things that just need to be done in the home, need to be updated. It can include things like damaged or deteriorated roofs or siding, windows, doors, repairs to plumbing, electrical, heating or cooling, improvements to the kitchen or the bathroom, adding or repairing security features, or making other improvements to make the home healthy, safe, or sanitary. So you can go to the Veterans Land Board website, and at the Land Board website, you can apply for this loan and get more information about it. So did you know that Texas has a one-of-its-kind kind of loans to help you buy land here in Texas? You have the chance to borrow up to $150,000 to purchase land at a competitive interest rate, and typically only a 5% down payment if it's a tract. It's got to be a tract of 1 acre or more. And you can't have more than one VA loan. So you could have your principal residence, and then you could buy a tract of land. But I don't want to get too much into how those loans work and operate because I'm not a lender, but I have a great lender that will go over all of that and stays up to date on all of the changes and what exactly is happening with that. And these VA loans are eligible to veterans, active duty, service members, and surviving spouses. So lenders like these loans because they're backed by the U.S. government, and so the lenders are taking less of a risk, and lenders like VA loans. And they can offer more competitive interest rates because the risk for them is less. VA loans don't have private mortgage insurance. And that can oftentimes be, until you've gotten 20% of that loan paid down, the PMI is several $100s a month that you are also saving. Yeah. So basically PMI, if you haven't heard that term before, it's an insurance policy that the lender will charge you when you don't have at least 20% down. They're insuring that loan with that PMI. They're putting that insurance. It's another insurance you're paying for if you don't have 20% down, because they see that as a higher risk loan when you haven't put that amount down on it. So that also means that VA loans have a little bit more lenient credit and debt to income ratios. So you can use that VA loan to purchase a home, or to build a home, or to refinance a home. So any of those you can do. Okay, so there's also something called the IRRL, IRRRL, and that stands for, it's an interest rate reduction and refinance loan, and IRRL. So after 6 months and every 6 months, you have an opportunity to refinance that loan and get a lower rate. So the VA actually wants you to be able to have the lowest rate possible. I've already had some clients just a year ago buy a house, and they've already refinance, and they have a lot better rate already. So that's kind of nice. I mean, that's an extra, he told me, $350 in his pocket every month. So that's another reason, like if you are as a buyer, you can kind of sit on the sidelines looking at interest rates. Well, if you're a veteran, why? Like it's a good time to buy. The interest rates go up, the prices go up. So let's get you in and get you uh, in a good position and you can refinance. Okay, there is going to be a funding fee, maybe $10,000. You know, you'll have to talk to the lender, but that does get added onto the loan, but it usually gets rolled into the loan. Okay, let's talk about the requirements. Just like everything else we've talked about, there are requirements you have to meet to qualify for these different opportunities. So you're going to have at least 90 consecutive service days during wartime or served 181 days of active duty during peacetime. You have to have 6 years of service in the National Guard or Reserve or serve 90 days, at least 30 of them consecutively under Title 32 orders. Or you are the spouse of the service member who died while serving or due to a service-related disability. And remember, you can have more than one VA loan at a time. However, if you have zero down on the first loan, it's not likely you're going to get zero down on the second loan. And remember, you want to talk to a qualified lender, and I have that person for you. And also, I would also say somebody local. That's going to serve you well. So that's part of how I'll help you get connected to all the people you need in getting a house and doing it successfully. By the way, I also want to say thank you for your service to all of our veterans. And I do hope that you will think about moving to Texas. We'd love to have you. And, you know, remember to, you know, whether you know what that date is, or even if, you know, if it's soon, next week, next month, or it's a year out, or just some date that you know, go ahead and give me a call, send me a text, an email, or let's schedule a Zoom, and my team and I will be talking to you and getting this set up and finding out what your wants or needs are. And that way we can help you make that Texas transition really successful. And remember, don't delay, call Janée. We want to help you figure out where in Dallas to live or where in Texas to live. We can help you with that. So also, by the way, if you're enjoying this video, go ahead and hit like. That helps me out. And if you hit subscribe, then you will start getting the videos of information about Dallas and surrounding areas that you can just sit back and binge watch. And I'm going to take you all over and teach you all these things. I've lived in Dallas for over 20 years. I watched it change a lot, and I'm out there, oh my goodness, just walking miles and, you know, in the heat or the rain or whatever, making these videos so that you get the information and you can start getting educated and getting some kind of idea about, well, I want to be here and not there. And anyway, I'm doing that to help you out. And I want to, I'd like to help you move here. My team and I are here and we're ready. We've helped a lot of people either relocate in Texas or move here from out of state. So, and that's what I did. I moved here from out of state years and years ago. I could not believe how hot it was coming from Oklahoma, but, or no, I'm sorry, I came from New Jersey. We lived in New Jersey, Fort Monmouth, and then came to Dallas as my dad retired, and saw lots of changes to Carswell Air Force Base. We'd go to the commissary, get all of our groceries once a week, and go to the AFIS, and I don't know. So I wasn't in the military, but definitely with my dad serving, all I knew. I remember when kids would talk about what their dads did at work. Since my dad was in intelligence and he didn't talk about what he did, he literally talked about nothing. I just was like, yeah, my dad does Army. I don't know what that is. He just does Army. That's all I knew. So a lot of what he did, he just simply never talked about. So, and this was something we picked out his casket. We had these put on. These were on the, no, it's something. We had these put on the corners. It's like it like locks in with these little screws, and this was on the corner of his. I thought it was really beautiful. I got to keep one of them, and I'm trying to hold this straight. Okay, so I got to keep one of these. I got to keep one of these that was on his casket. It went on the four corners, and my brother got one, and I got one. Um, then my mom has the other two that eventually my daughters will get to have. But really proud of his service, and I'm proud of all of you for serving, and also the families that support military. That's a unique kind of family life to have, and I know you have certain challenges and benefits of being married to a service member. Sometimes there's a long time apart, and also experiences your spouses go through that maybe are hard to adjust to. So we appreciate you, and we'd love to get you the resources that you need to make the move go well. I have seen people sometimes not get the right resources, and we don't want that to happen to you. So I believe as a veteran, we love our veterans, and we want you to come here and be part of our community. Remember, my team and I have been helping people move to Texas or move around in Texas, and we can also help you if you're not moving to Dallas. We've got trusted partners throughout the state that we can connect you with, and you can get your house if you want to go to Houston or San Antonio, or you want to buy something along the border. Hey, that's maybe we need more veterans along the border, because yeah, well, I won't get into that, but there's a lot of good hunting down there, by the way. So might think about it. If you are a hunter, I'm also connected with some people that know about hunting ranches down there. So maybe that's what you want. But let me know. Like, not everybody wants to live in the city. That's okay. We can help you find your place. And I know some of you guys are live off the land kind of people, and that's what we should help you find. So, by the way, my name is Janée Reeder, and I am a not a native Texan, but as I say, I got here as soon as I could. My father was a retired lieutenant colonel from the U.S. Army, served in Korea, served in Germany during the Cold War, and served in Vietnam, Saigon. And I grew up having an appreciation, respect for military service, as well as my grandfather was a Navy Seabee. So, kind of heard those stories and lived part of that life, was an Army brat. And then we moved to Texas when I was pretty young. He retired, and have lived here ever since. So I've watched Dallas really, really change a lot. I'd love to help. I love veterans, and our team would love to help you make this process of transitioning to Texas as smooth as possible. Do give us a call, send a text, shoot an email, or go ahead, just book a Zoom, and then we have a time that we can sit down and talk about what your wants and needs are and get going on a plan. And there's some things to know about relocating to Texas beyond this video that we can go over. And anyway, I look forward to talking to you and meeting you soon, and thank you for your service.